Hi, I'm Mike Handverger with Tricky Fast Studios. Today I'm going to show you how to use the looting system in Cat RPG Builder. By the end of this video, you should be able to create loot tables, add them to various things, and have them distributed to the player. So let's get started. I've got this fairly basic level set up. It's got some geometry. It has a player for this little capsule here is the player, and it's otherwise pretty much empty. The player does have a state machine and a character controller with a first-person controller on it. So the first thing we want to do is create our loot table. So Cat Game Builder has weighted loot tables. What that means is that there's going to be a list of objects in the table, and each one is assigned a weight. It's going to roll a random number between 0 and the total weight, and then it's going to pick one, and in between that, based on its weight. So anything with a higher weight is going to have a bigger chance of being picked. So let's create one of those now. We can use the menu here, and we can add a weighted loot table. Oops, put that down there. So there's actually no options on the weighted loot table, but what you want to do is come back over here to loot. There's all these different loot items. So there's inventory, there's a level, you could give levels, you can give something from another loot table, you can give nothing. Sometimes that's useful. So if you want like a 75% chance that you get nothing and then a 25% chance that you get some item, you could add this null loot item with a value of 75, and then whatever other item with a value of 25. And it's skill points, sub-table loot item, so that would be rolling off of a sub-table. Virtual currency, and that's it for now. So let's add an inventory item, loot item here. So this would be for adding some sort of item. So let's set the weight to 1. We can give it an icon. So there's two ways you can distribute the loot. You can either have it just pop up and then spawn out into the world, or you can have a window pop up for the user or player to select which items they want to loot. In the latter case, if you use this icon, that's how you would display it. In the former case, you would use this pickup item prefab to set the prefab for it. And then you can put conditions underneath any loot item here, or loot table item, and those conditions will be run to determine whether it'll actually give out that loot item or not on any given roll. And also you can add actions underneath it, which will be run whenever that loot item is picked. So if you used this base loot item, which is just the loot table item, it doesn't give out anything by itself, but if you add an action underneath it, you can give out anything you want that you can give out in an action. So you could give out an ability, for instance. So you could just do that by cat RPG, cat action, RPG abilities, grant ability. So here we go. If we did this, we would just give out an ability based on a loot table item. But back to the inventory item. So target, I think we want to set that to targeted. Position, I think we want to set that to owner. Spawn at position means that it will actually spawn. We can give it an item name here. We're going to call it health potion. We'll give out 1. We want to place it on the ground so that it'll do a raycast so that it gets on the ground. If we wanted to add attachments, we could add those here. And in fact, we'll do that in a minute. For now, we're just going to give it a health potion. Pick up item prefab. We have a prefab for the health potion. Let's go into our prefabs, pickups. Okay, so we'll add the health potion pickup. And that's all we need to do for now. So let's come back over here. So now we need to save this as a prefab. And then let's create something to loot. So we'll create a cube. Just put it right there. That sounds good. We'll make that into a state machine. Actually, what we can just do is we can use the interaction service here. So we'll go ahead and add, new services, interaction service, and we will add a interaction manager over here. Interact for your mouse, yes. Yep, that sounds good. And then we're going to add cat interaction, loot interaction. So we'll take a look at this. We don't have any animation or sound. We don't need to wait for death. We don't need to wait for open. Let's destroy on loot though. Now it takes a loot table. So we'll add a loot table here. We'll just do one roll for now. We can do instantiate to create them. All right, the other thing we need to add is the inventory service. And in the inventory service, available items, we're going to add health potion. And on the player, we're going to have an inventory manager and auto expand bag, all that stuff. So there we go. Let's give that a try. So click on the cube, we get a potion, we can pick up a potion, we get a potion in our inventory. Pretty easy. Let's make things a bit more complicated. Open this loot table here. Let's add another thing. Let's add a virtual currency loot item. Let's give that a weight of 1. And don't need an icon or a pickup item prefab. Currency name. Do we have any currencies set up here? We do. Cherries. So we'll call it cherries. Minimum amount 5. Maximum amount 15. So it'll give some random amount in between there. So let's just apply this. We can just click it for now. Our loot interaction, we'll set it to do 2 rolls now. And give that a try. And it rolled 2 potions. Let's try it again. and it rolled 2 currencies. As you can see, my currency went up. All right. So you can see there's a bunch of different loot types that you can add. So let's add just another item type here. For this one, we're going to make this a sword. So we'll also set the weight to be 5. Pick up item prefab. Let's come down here. Pickups. I'll use Bob's sword here. This what was Bob's sword is the item name. Yes, we have to place it on the ground. So now we can add some attachments. Let's do a minimum of 1, maximum of 2. We'll add 2 attachments here. While we're here, though, we need to add to the inventory service. We need to add another item here, and we'll add Bob's sword. Now let's go back up to the top. Video. While we're here, we also need to add some attachments. So we've got the amazing prefix and then of doom suffix. Let's just make sure this is set up right. The amazing. Yep. Of doom. Yep. All set. All right. So now we've added these attachments. So we got the amazing prefix. Now this attachment list is also weighted, but we're just going to have the weight set to 1 here. And then of doom suffix. All right, so now it's going to roll between 1 and 2 attachments on Bob's sword. Let's apply that. And then let's bump this up to 5. One other thing we need to do while we're here is to set this to spawn at position. And then we can apply that. Disable this for now. And let's give it a try. Oh, look at that, a bunch of swords. I think some of them fell through the ground, but there we go. So if we pick up a sword, this is Bob's Sword of Doom, and we got 2 Bob's Swords of Dooms. Such is the luck of the draw. As you can see, though, it did create a bunch of swords, and they had some of the attachments that we specified. Now, the other thing I can touch on briefly is, if you remember from this loot interaction, we had some options here for wait for death and wait for open. Wait for death works on NPCs. If you have somebody who's in combat, you can click on that, and then this loot interaction will automatically go off as soon as the NPC dies. Or wait for open, you can put that on a chest, and as soon as the chest is opened, this interaction will go off automatically. You can also do things like you can store the results of the rolls into a value if you want to do something with them. That would probably be if you wanted to pop up a window. And you can also, if you'd set that on generate only, and then you would store them in it. Since this is an interaction, you can add conditions underneath it or other actions. That's really about it for the loot system. In this video, you should have learned how to create loot tables, add various items to them, set up their weights, and then also spawn items with different attachments for randomization of items, and then also how to apply a loot interaction to an object so that it can be looted. I hope you found this video informative and useful. Let us know in the comments if there are other videos or tutorials you'd like to see. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media for the latest videos and other news. For more information on CAT or CAT RPG Builder and how they can help you build and prototype RPGs faster, please visit catgamebuilder.com. I'm Mike Hanverger with Tricky Fast Studios. Thanks for watching.